I'm Mark Stewart, candidate for mayor, and I've been asked by the Voter Coalition for top priorities and how I would tackle them. Well, I'm running for mayor to tackle the following three. There are others, but these are the big three. It is increasing jobs, it is decreasing crime, and it is improving schools. And if I had to take one of the three, in part because it's immediate, and in part because the other two somewhat depend on it, it's schools. Our schools are not good enough. And because of that, jobs are less plentiful because big employers don't want to come here. Big employers don't want to cite their current people and think they'll have problems attracting really good people to an area that has bad schools for the people that have families. Crime is somewhat dependent on schools too, because if the schools are bad, including the teaching that has come about of late that, there's systemic racism that's going to keep you down no matter how well you do in school. A lot of kids don't bother to stay in school for that reason. They are on the streets and then they're more tempted to do crime. Low level at first, but if we don't enforce it, which is one of the mayor priorities, enforce against low level crime, then it turns into higher crime, okay? Armed robberies, domestic violence. These have to go away. But if we start with schools, a lot of them do go away eventually. Now, two things that this mayor would do for schools. One, give parents choice in schools. And two, make sure that Chef versus O'Neill is abandoned. It keeps a lot of families from being in the better schools in Hartford. All schools get better if you allow parent choice. This mayor would give $20,000 per child to every family to use at the school they wish. That might be a private school. That might be an out-of-town school. But hopefully it is in town, in your neighborhood, getting better because you now have the power to make it better. When you're armed with cash, the cash that goes with your kid, the schools have to play to it like they do in any other business. If they don't perform well for their clients go away. This is a good thing. It makes neighborhood schools better, and along the way, parents have the choice. As for jobs, I have a few proposals. Take Hartford off of pilot, that's payment in lieu of taxes, which the legislature can control, and I will be routinely in front of the legislature because we get ripped off. The value of our lands, if even close to taxed at the mill rate, would bring in a lot more revenue than they give now. Number two, bring an NHL team back to Hartford. That means we will be the team, the wooers of at least two franchises, all we need is one, maybe more, to try to get one in the next 4 years. Number three, lure promoters of entertainment. Lots of concerts used to come to Hartford, big names, every weekend in the summer, a good number of times in the fall, winter, spring. That doesn't happen anymore, and it could. We could easily be a stop. Casino, gambling, should be in Hartford as well. And I would have the legislature work with the tribes, which unfortunately they were stuck with a compact that keeps it on tribal lands in return for slot machine dollars. I think we should get out of that to allow every urban area to have upscale gaming that attracts people not only within our state, but from outside the state as well. I would like to see the legislature, really it's the insurance commissioner, loosen the requirements on insurers, still protecting policyholders, but allow them to be more freewheeling. We could have more robust insurance companies here once again. We should add a cybercrime detection unit in Hartford because it is a money maker. When we save people money, that's very good in itself. When we can gain contracts from other states and big corporations because our expertise at finding crime before it happens is high, we're going to be able to do well with revenue. We should rebuild crumbling foundations. Now, very few are in Hartford, but it's Hartford contractors and their crews that will be in Eastern Connecticut making a good living, helping people in their homes. And finally, I'd like to fund 50-50 from the legislature on new police, okay? We should have a police force that is 400 people higher. And we can do it even if it were only ourselves, but I think the legislature should help. It should be a 50-50 split. Now, what can we do without legislative help? How about AOA, stands for Attractors of Assets. Some people call it Hartford Hookers. I'm okay with that call. It's our having 8 to 20 individuals who love Hartford and want to spend 3 or 4 months in New York or Northern New Jersey, wooing firms to site divisions here. Now, New York does not have a lot going for it anymore. There's a lot of momentum, but there's, unfortunately for them, high taxes, just as bad crime, maybe even worse, and a claustrophobia that they can escape here, along with bank. Okay, somebody who relocates from Queens, sells their $800,000 house, can get 3 houses here in Hartford. So large divisions, thanks to our force of people that I want to empower, head to New York for this. Finally, I call it cool housings, where our homeowners now should be able to have cottages on their property or rooftop extras. End the zoning that keeps Hartford constrained, allows more people, modest cost housing, allows grandma to stay close by, allows kid who's done with college and wants to be semi-independent to be close to mom and dad, not paying a huge amount, and it's very wholesome. I have wholesome stuff at stewartforhartford.com. I hope you will see us there. Thank you for listening here.